Today we're going to be talking about the mushroom houses built by Earl Young in Charlevoix, Michigan.
So Earl Young built, there's approximately 28 to 32. There was a house that was torn down. There's also the Weathervane Hotel, Hotel Earl, and the Weathervane Restaurant. So those technically aren't houses, but he did build them. So I always say between 28 to 32. The one that got destroyed, it was actually they tore it down to build a different house, and they didn't tell anybody they were going to do it. This was years ago, and people in Charlevoix said they just heard kind of like an explosion, and it was them kind of demolishing one of Earl Young's houses. It was on Round Lake, so it was down, from Edgewater down a little bit. My favorite mushroom house is, I would say, the half house, just because it's so typical Earl Young. It is the most, in my opinion, distinctive. It looks like it's been sliced in half. It's got the huge boulders that he loved, and it's just like the cutest house, in my opinion, that he did. He loved to stroll the beaches. So this is back when there was no really like TV or iPads or video games. So for fun, he would just stroll the beaches and look for stones, and he loved fairy tales, and so he would just kind of put together the two. He went to architecture school only for a year and quit because he wanted to expand his mind. So he put the two loves together and started building houses out of stones with no education on how to do it. He just did it off the top of his head. So that's how they started, and people loved him, and he was always struggling for money, but he did it, and here we are today still talking about it. There's like a fan favorite, which is probably the thatch house. Now the thatch house, he didn't do the roof on it. So even though it's everybody's favorite, that was the very first house he built, but they redid it so much to make it so exciting with the thatching, but it's technically not his design. So I always say probably the most famous is the actual mushroom house, which is right by the library. It's on Clinton Street, and it is the one that looks like a mushroom. It's got the roof that has the mushroom look to it. The mushroom houses, Earl Young probably would have actually hated that name. He would have probably wanted them called Earl Young houses. They just got nicknamed that after he did the one that looks like a mushroom. Somebody started calling them mushroom houses, and it stuck. So I don't think he would have liked the name, but they are called mushroom houses because he did one to look like a mushroom. He went to school for architecture, so he loved architecture. He actually traveled like around the world, which was not really done back then as much as it is now, where people like go backpacking and things like that. But so when he was young, he traveled and just loved like seeing worldly architecture. So he did go to school for it, but then quit, like I was saying before. And then he loved stones and fairy tales and just wanted to build these like fairy tale houses that fit in with nature. That was his big thing. He wanted everything to fit in and look like it's always been there. So I think when he first started, people probably mocked him and said that he was crazy for doing it. But the more he did, and he kept with it, even though people were probably saying he was never, what was he doing? He was never going to amount to anything by doing these crazy houses. I think one person actually even said, who would ever live in one of those at one point? So, but the more he did them, the more people appreciated it. And so they just ended up growing and growing in popularity. But it's probably only since PBS did a documentary about his houses, and I think that was in 2012 maybe, but that kind of exploded them and got people talking about him even more and more. So it's only been recent since they really became super popular.